Here are two big problems with English compared to other languages. First of all, there are many, many words, over 100,000. Second, for a lot of those words, you can't figure out how to pronounce them from their spelling. In a lot of languages, you can just look at a word and make a good guess about how it's pronounced. Not English. The spelling sometimes gives you no clue at all how to pronounce an English word. So, English pronunciation can be really frustrating. In this video, I'm going to try to make it a little less frustrating. I'm going to go through 10 words that many students who are learning English mispronounce. For each one, I'll tell you exactly how to pronounce it. So, by the end of this video, if you pay attention, your English pronunciation will be a little bit better. And remember, when you're studying English, every little improvement is a victory. Oh, and it's not only students who are learning English who have difficulties with pronunciation. There are plenty of words that native speakers have trouble with. At the end of this video, I'll tell you one English word that most native speakers get wrong. But first, let's learn the 10 words you might be mispronouncing. Here we go. Number 1, ache. That's our first word. That's a weird one. Is it ouch or achy? Nope. It's ache. Ache. One syllable and rhymes with lake. So what's an ache? It's a pain, like a toothache or a headache. As in, English pronunciation can be a real headache. Number 2, bury. There's our next word. It means to put something under the ground. A lot of students mispronounce it as bur-e, but that's wrong. It's bury. Bury. It's pronounced exactly like berry, as in strawberry or blueberry. To help you remember, think of this sentence. The dog buried his bone in the blueberry patch. Number 3, comb. Here's another one. How do you pronounce it? It looks like comb-bee? No, it's comb. Comb. A long O, and the B is silent. Most of you know what that is. It's a thing you use to straighten your hair. Number 4, cupboard. Here's a tricky one. It's a cabinet in the kitchen that you keep dishes and things in. So how do you pronounce it? Cupboard? No, cupboard. Cupboard. In fact, it did used to be just a board that people hung cups on, but now we just say cupboard. Number 5, dinosaur. This is a hard one too. Some students say dinosaur. That's kind of what it looks like, but that's not it. It's pronounced the dinosaur. Dinosaur. You know what those are. Those giant reptiles that used to roam the earth, like the Triceratops and Pterodactyl. Those names are pretty hard to pronounce too, by the way. Number 6, gauge. A lot of students pronounce this as gouge. A few say ga-g. Those make sense, but they're actually both wrong. The correct pronunciation is gauge. Gauge. To gauge something is to estimate or measure it, as in, a practice test is a great way to gauge what score you might get on the TOEFL. Number 7, height. Many students pronounce this as hate, as in freight or weight. You probably guessed by now, but that's wrong. So how do we pronounce this? Height. Height, with a long I. What does that mean? The height of something is how tall it is. Number 8, receipt. That's a strange looking one. How do I pronounce that EI? And what about that PT? Like this. Receipt. Receipt. What is a receipt? It's a piece of paper that you get to prove that you bought something. Number 9, soot. Another simple looking one that's actually hard to pronounce. A lot of students pronounce this as Soot, but that's wrong. It's actually pronounced Soot. Soot. Both these words, soot and soot, are actually confusing to pronounce, so it's useful to remember them together. For example, the chimney salesman got soot on his suit. Number 10, squirrel. This is that gray animal that runs around gathering nuts. It's really a difficult one for lots of students to pronounce, so I'll just say it. Squirrel. Squirrel. If you don't get it at first, don't worry. That's one that lots of students really need to practice before they get it right. That's all 10 words. Oh, and I mentioned earlier that there's one common word that even native speakers have difficulty with. So here it is. Number 11, February. That's the second month of the year. How do you pronounce it? Most native speakers say February. February. But some say that you should pronounce the R like this. February. February. Even the dictionaries disagree about that one. So, English is full of difficult pronunciation, but I hope this video has made English pronunciation just a little bit easier for you. By the way, if you're studying for the TOEFL, check out Prep Scholar's TOEFL course at toefl.prepscholar.com. At Prep Scholar, we want to help as many students as possible to do as well as they can on the TOEFL. We've even put together a free guide to TOEFL vocabulary for all of our YouTube viewers. Get it now at this link. Thanks for watching. Like this video and subscribe to get the next lesson from Prep Scholar.